Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm John and I'm sitting here with my new best friend, the 2021 Honda Trail 125 or CT-125 or Hunter Cub. So this is another video in the series about the Trail 125 where we just go over the certain areas of the bike and we focus on one specific area for the video. In this video, we're going to focus on the engine and drivetrain of the Trail 125. Everybody probably knows the specs already. It's 125 cc's. It's basically the same engine as the Grom, the Monkey, the Super Cub. It's semi-automatic transmission. We know the things that are in the press. We know how the bike's configured. We can all read the specs on the website. But I'm going to show you the actual running gear and engine and my thoughts on it. So with that, let's check out what's powering this Honda Trail 125. Going over the specs of the bike is you're going to find something very similar to the Honda Grom and the Honda Monkey and the Honda Super Cub. Basically the same engine and drivetrain. Let me subtract that drivetrain first. Basically the same engine, so same cylinder head, same cylinder, piston, probably the same EFI, running gear, basics. Your basic foundation of the engine is going to be the same as the Grom, Monkey, and the Super Cub. But when we get to the transmission, the driveline basically is where it differs. So in the drivetrain, instead of having a manual clutch system like the Monkey and the Grom, this is a semi-automatic shifting system. So it's an automatic clutch, but you get to select the gears. So basically, you start off in neutral all the way down, and then every time you click up, you put it in a different gear. And there's 4 gears, so it's 4 up on the transmission. And you might notice this thing over here. The first thing I thought is, what in the world is that, and what am I going to do with this? So basically, this is a heel shifter. So you can pull up to select your gear with your toe, or you can push down with your heel to kick it up to the next gear. I didn't quite understand the reasoning to this. My bikes are kind of always limited to dirt bikes, off-road bikes, where it's 1 down and 3 up or 4 up, neutral in the middle between 1 and 2. So I didn't understand what the purpose of this was until I took it for a break-in ride yesterday, when I ended up using this a lot. Not when I ever thought I would either. So on the street, just cruising around, I use my toe. But it wasn't until I started getting off-road a little bit and, kind of finding the groove with this heel shifter that I ended up liking it. So very interesting, cool little aspect of this that you see right off the bat. And of course, one of the most obvious things is the Scrambler style high side exhaust pipe. And this does have a catalytic converter in it, but it is packaged over here, which I feel is a better location for the catalytic converter rather than being underneath like the Monkey and the Grom. So this pipe is very similar to what you'd see on the old Trail 70, and I'll wheel it out here for you. This is reminiscent. So you see some styling cues between the two, the front brace, the skid plate sort of thing, and then the high side Scrambler pipe. So definitely a really cool throwback to the vintage Hondas that they're trying to pay homage to. Moving right along to the right side engine case. This is the clutch side of the engine. You'll see a different case, a different cover than the Monkey and the Grom. And this little provision right here is most likely for the clutch, maybe a clutch adjustment. I'm curious to see if if I can tighten up this clutch any, because it does seems to be really forgiving. Like it allows a lot of slip. So that's something I might want to look at. The other thing you'll notice that's new is a dipstick right here. This little dipstick is not on the Monkey or the Grom, and it is for the engine oil. Obviously, the engine oil is also the transmission oil in these motors. So we take it out here, and nice full tank. So quite possibly one of the most unique things and different things about this bike is this piece right here, which is a Kickstarter. So this is one of the things where I was kind of like, all right, well, that's interesting. I've always liked having a Kickstarter in case the electric start system, which this also has, clearly, in case the electric start system didn't work, you had a Kickstarter. You had a way to start it. So the Monkey, the Grom, Cub, they don't have this. This bike is meant to go out and adventure with. So with adventures, you often find yourself maybe in compromising positions, or basically you're not in the comfort of your own confines or close to home. So if you're out and about adventuring through the mountains, which is what this bike to me was designed for, what if your battery goes dead? Well, how do you start it? So that's the answer right here. They put a Kickstarter on it. So basically it's that backup system in case your electric starter or your battery goes dead. You can still use the Kickstarter. Easily the first and most common thing changed on the Honda Monkey and the Honda Grom are the front sprocket and the rear sprocket. The front sprocket hides under this cover here, and the rear sprocket obviously you see right there. So the reason these are changed so often on the Honda Monkey and the Grom are because the ratio doesn't really favor acceleration too much. It's meant more for highway speeds, and it's kind of counterintuitive on those bikes because they're really not fast enough for the majority of the U.S. highways nowadays. So most people, myself included, strive for a little bit more acceleration and a little bit more jump off the line. So the most common thing to do is to upgrade with a 14-tooth front sprocket, and people like myself go a little bit higher in the rear. I've tried 36, and I think 37 is a good ratio for the Monkey and the Grom. So I'm really happy with the 14-37 on the Grom and the Monkey. So what did Honda do with the Trail 125? They, in fact, made a stock 14-tooth front sprocket standard, and on the back is the big surprise. This is a 38-tooth rear sprocket. So that's a lot of teeth. That's 1 tooth higher than the ratio I use on the Honda Grom. That ratio provides me some really good acceleration, and it provides some pretty nice highway speeds as well. So it's a good blend, in my opinion, of acceleration and top speed ability. It maximizes the power output of the engine nicely, in my opinion. So the 1438 on the Trail 125 is a pretty interesting choice by Honda. It's almost as if they knew they needed a little bit more gearing for the 125cc based on the experiences from the Monkey and the Grom. So I'm really happy with that gear combo. However, I am expecting to try a 13-tooth in the front because that is a upgrade I see people in the Asian market doing for trail riding, and it's good to experiment with those things. So I'm pretty sure that's one of my first upgrades, is to try the 13-tooth in the front. So we're going to take a look at the chain adjuster mechanism on this bike. It's a little bit nicer looking than that you'd find on the Grom. The Monkey's chain adjuster is not bad, but it's got nice little finish caps here. However, it's still got a large stud sticking out, which might be unavoidable in certain instances, or you're paying a lot for something that maybe people won't care about. So chain adjusters are not bad looking. They look in place on the bike. Okay, thanks for watching. Please be sure to check out all of the other feature videos on the Trail 125. I try to cover each section of the bike in up-close detail, foregoing the specifications and more or less showing you how it works on the bike and what I feel about it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like this content. There's tons more to come.